Welcome to another exciting episode of the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. This one's going to be fun.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame.
Dancing with the Stars champ Mark Ballas is back in Chicago on Broadway, stepping back into the role of that silver-tongued prince of the courtroom, Billy Flynn. Here's a flashback to our chat when he first joined the cast of Chicago. I love what you're going to bring to the show. I think it's super, super exciting. Have you been a big fan of the show? I mean, I feel like everybody is, right?
Yeah, it's actually a full circle moment for me. I went to musical theater college in the UK. Theater has always been in my, in my world, and it's kind of what started me in the entertainment industry. And when I graduated from theater school, I was 19, and one of the first shows I tried out for was for Chicago. And it was for the ensemble, the male ensemble. I got right down to the end and ended up not booking the gig. I was 19, I was auditioning, I was out there in the streets, like getting there, doing these auditions, and it was like learning to pay your dues and learning how to take rejection and learning to get back up and try again. And now 20 years later, I'm coming back to Chicago as Billy Flynn, and now this is my third Broadway show. So this is a full circle moment for me. I grew up loving this music and learning this music and spending time with this music.
I think it's incredible. And in that lesson, though, of getting back up, and I don't think we always see people like that. We see people here, right, when they're super successful and super famous, but we don't always talk about what got them there, and that's what gives you that strength.
When you come to a Broadway show, or you go see a movie, or you go to a concert, you're seeing the final product. You're seeing the result. You're not seeing the blood, sweat, and tears, and you're not always seeing the process. You get to a little bit more now with what people decide to share on social media, but auditioning and getting out there is, it's a process. Billy's a different type of character for me, honestly, which I'm really looking forward to. I think the kind of exciting thing about playing Billy is it's kind of a new type of personality for me. I wouldn't say I really relate to a lawyer, but I think with Billy, he's a slick showman. He's razzle-dazzling you, and you don't even know it.
Yep.
Right? Whereas I feel like my whole performance career is I'm like, get it! You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think the showman side of it is definitely something I relate to.
Cats, the JELLICLE Ball is now on Broadway. It's a reimagining of Andrew Lloyd Webber's classic musical Cats, but it's set in the world of ballroom. Here's Paul Wontorek with more.
People throw around the word legend a lot these days, but I consider all three of you legends. So I'm thrilled to be sitting with you, and I really wanted to gather us all to talk about Cats, the JELLICLE Ball. Now, because Junior, of course, you are a legend of the ballroom scene, and you are such a burst of authenticity in the middle of this production. And Ken, you are a Cats legend because I saw you in the original company 1982. You were McCavity. And Andre, you're just Broadway legend, full stop. Tony-winning Broadway legend.
I'll take that, yeah.
Junior, how do you feel starting on Broadway? Was Broadway ever something that you even imagined would enter your life?
No, nor did I anticipate it. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And because it's a gift, I receive it with honor and respect because I was guided to meet the Broadway deity, Mr. André De Shields. So that was my universal approach.
Ken, when did you come to New York?
I came to New York in 1982.
Okay.
I was driven by this man because of The Wiz and because of Ain't Misbehavin'. My dance teacher actually introduced me to those records, and we were doing jazz dance in the studio, and I was doing it to The Wiz and Ain't Misbehavin', and I thought, that's what I want to be. I want to do what he's doing. And so to be here sitting on this couch, I just told him it's just a euphoric feeling. My career has been standing on his shoulders, and now here I am sitting next to him.
Have you ever crossed paths before? And I know Ken Page, your Ain't Misbehavin' co-star, was in the original Cats with Ken.
Yes.
And playing your role now. I mean, there's so many Broadway connections.
I'm actually playing his role because Ken Page.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Created the role on Broadway.
Yeah, Old Deuteronomy.
Of Old Deuteronomy. So I'm Old Deuteronomy Redux.
Junior, you're playing Gus, the theater cat, which is a role I've always loved. Gus. Gus is a real theater character, and I love that you're new to the theater. It's so exciting that you have this showcase moment, and you get to see all the kids, all the kittens, right, around you, sort of looking up to you. What is it like to be center stage doing a moment like that in a theatrical production?
It's a shift, because I do the same thing as the master of ceremony for ballroom. I'm able to influence the audience as opposed to the audience being influencing me.
Ken,
Yes.
as someone who lived through the original phenomenon, I mean, when this show opened originally, it was touching people in its own way. And then you got to experience the JELLICLE Ball as an audience member. What is it like sort of merging those worlds together for you?
When Cats first came out, I was just arrived in New York. I was very confident. And I listened to the show and I thought, I'm going to do that show. I did it for a year and it was amazing. And I did 3 Andrew Lloyd Webber shows. They brought it back in 2016.
Right.
And I went to see it and I was so disappointed because they didn't do anything to it. It was a museum piece. And when you bring a show back that is as iconic as this is, you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
So when they said they were bringing Cats back again, I crossed my arms and I was like, what are they going to do with Cats? Oh my God. And I literally said, does everything have to be so gay? And then I went and saw it in the theater and I thought, yes.
You know, the young black queer kids that can come into the Broadhurst Theater and just, or don't know they're queer kids, you know, sitting there and experiencing this and the kind of impact. Do you think about that at all, or you're just doing the...
I think about it.
Yeah.
I think about it every day.
And they do know they're queer.
Sure.
They just don't know where they belong
Right.
until they come to the theater and see themselves. And it is a revelation when you finally understand, oh my God, I'm not the only one. There are others like me. There is a place for me in the world. And that changes your entire future.
I would like to add from the ballroom perspective and for the youth, before you can fly, you must fall. You do not have to go through a perceived door. I did not go through a perceived door. However, I am known in the ballroom culture as Junior LeBeija, the shady and fierce and opulent OPULENCE. But in my ancestral, from my father and my Cherokee and Black Sioux Indian heritage, I am a PhD dropout. I call it alternates. We all have them. I get up every day and I look around the room and go, which one are you going to be today? And that's what I grasp through this revisioning of this play.
Give me your hand till death do us part.
Yes.
Sleep all day, party all night, never die. It's fun having vampires on Broadway. The Lost Boys, inspired by the hit 80s classic movie. Here's an exclusive musical performance from the Broadway.com studio.
I was gonna change the world. Oh, I was a fearless girl. But somehow it turned out to be that the world changed me. The years weren't kind, to be honest. I miss that flower child. Oh, to be wild again. Wild again. To be wild, wild again. Funny how it all turns out when you're too young to know what love's about. I gave away a part of me, oh, and I'm paying for it now. But you should have seen me in my glory days. Before I learned to be afraid, I'd be that alive again if I could only remember how.
Maybe it's not too late for you now.
Oh, to be wild again. to be wild, wild again. But if I could be braver than I've ever been before, blame myself less and follow my heart more. What if the mother in me could be messy and free and hold it together at the same time? What if my voice could mean the world to me and I could matter too? And that fearless girl in me could live in everything I do. What if it all could be up to me?
Near, far, wherever you are, if you are looking for some laughs, you're going to want to check out Titanique. It's a musical parody based on the 90s blockbuster Titanic. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
You guys, it's so great to sit down with you at the very sunny Sunlight Studios.
We were saying it should be called Sunless Studios.
But this place has some significance because it's where you rehearsed for the off-Broadway at the Darrell Theater, that version of this show.
Crazy.
So let's time travel together. What did it feel like walking into a room like this all those years ago when you were rehearsing? Because that was like the midpoint of this journey.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, compared to what it felt like today just now, walking into this room then, it felt huge and luxurious and like we had arrived. And now I'm looking.
Is this the literal?
Is this
This is where we rehearsed.
I know, I was going to say,
yes,
this
girl,
feels,
that's why we're here.
it feels tinier than I thought.
I know, it feels like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know what I mean? There's so many memories flooding back of like moments that we built in this room, things that were inspired in this space, and I kind of am like feeling this rush come over me. I'm just sitting here.
Okay, so we're gonna time travel from the steerage of the Gristedes basement to the jewel of the St. James Theater, where you are on the Broadway. So tell me what that feels like.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's an absolute dream come true.
Yeah.
We cry all the time, and like, I don't really show emotion all the time.
That's not true.
That's
He's
not-
actually way more emotional than he pretends.
Oh yeah, maybe I am.
He's
but
a softie.
yeah, we come out, you know, when I say I'm the king of the world, I instantly, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again. It's just, I don't know, it's a dream. I feel like I don't want to wake up.
I honestly, I echo this. He cries in the beginning. I usually cry.
Yeah, she cries at the end when she's like, I finished, I've
yeah, we
done
finished
it.
the show, I did it, because it's like, it's an incredibly...
I can see her finishing, my heart will go on, and she's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. And I was like, you better go off, Marla. I was like, also your arms look amazing.
Thank you. You know, to come from the basement of a Gristedes, and then, you know, we transferred about 6 months into the Del Roth. We had like the opposite trajectory of most shows, where usually you go to Broadway and then you go all over the world.
Right.
We went all over the world first. So for the longest time, I won't speak for these two divas, but I thought like maybe this is just our path. Maybe we will be like the little show that could, and we'll go all over the world, and that's going to be the journey for us. And so the fact that we are now here 10 years later on Broadway, when like I had sort of given up on the dream, it feels like my actual dream has come true. And what we are experiencing now is not only so joyous, but it just feels like this incredible victory lap for the three of us after working so hard and after achieving most accolades that you can get for a small show. To be on Broadway now, it's like we've done everything we possibly could, and now we just get to celebrate it, you know?
There is a guiding light of this show. What would Celine Dion do?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has that question actually ever solved an issue?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time. It's so funny. I was
It
just
sounds like
thinking
a joke,
about
but
that.
it's not.
We're doing a comedy, sending up an iconic film that people love, that is fierce, utilizing songs written by a bunch of strangers we don't know, and borrowing the persona of an angel, an alien diva baby who like people love. And I just felt early on that the only way to like make a show work when we're borrowing that much information is to really come at it from up here. With a high vibration. And so, I don't know, one day the phrase, what would Celine do, came to me, and I was like, this needs to be our mantra, because we should not be doing anything in this show that doesn't represent her well, or how she would actually be treating people, or the story, or the event, or the show. And I literally had it, I drew it with Sharpie, and put it up on that wall that we're looking at right now with a bunch
In
of the
this space.
in this
space
room
right there.
with pictures of Celine all around it at her finest. And it really is our mantra.
It's a love letter to her. And it's a love letter to the movie as well. I mean, even though it's a parody of it, and we do, go hard, it's because we love both of them so much that everybody needs to know that this is truly just a love letter to both of them.
Welcome back to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Let's get back to it. The Jazz Age, alive and well on Broadway, The Great Gatsby has it all. Bootleggers, flappers, tappers, incredible costumes, and much more. So let's send it out to Perry Sook.
We are here outside the Broadway Theater with the woman who helps keep Daisy looking fabulous all show long, her dresser, Kim. Kim, what is it like working with these beautiful period Tony Award-winning costumes for the musical The Great Gatsby?
I feel so incredibly lucky. Our costume designer, Linda Cho, did an amazing job with these costumes. They're beaded, they're gorgeous, they're dancing so hard in them that the beads go flying off some nights, almost every night. But everyone just looks stunning. It's just a huge spectacle, and I feel so incredibly lucky to get to work with it every single day.
Now, these costumes in particular, I mean, they are glamorous. It is the glitz and glamour of the 20s in every possible way. What kind of difficulties come with that?
I think just maintaining them for 8 shows a week. So like just for a photo shoot, I mean, she has 2 white dresses, which is like the biggest nightmare I could ever think of. So for 8 shows, there's like sweat, there's makeup that gets on it. So I'm making sure they're clean all the time. I know all the other dressers on Broadway have the same problem with anything white for 8 shows a week. And then just making sure they all stay clean and, they're sweating. So we dry clean once a week. Yeah, and I think it's just really maintaining Linda's design and making sure it shows out for everyone and everyone gets the show for like the first time when they see it, even though we've been doing it for like 2 years.
So The Great Gatsby, so many people love it. What is it you love about this show?
I think that the tale is just timeless. Always searching for the American dream, always searching for something that we can't ever seem to get, but we're still gonna keep going no matter what. We're always gonna push against the current, boast against the tide. My favorite thing is that it is also catharsis for us women. In the show, Daisy never really has a choice. Her last song, Little Fool, I think speaks to a lot of women. But it's also a huge spectacle. It's something to remember to like live life and keep going and keep pushing, even if you don't get there.
Now, Daisy might not have a choice, but she is lucky enough to have you. I know you have to get to work, but is it okay if these guys follow you around for a little bit?
Absolutely, let's go. This is Eva's dressing room. These are all of her costumes, all of her shoe changes that she has. And then beside you is all of the jewelry that she has for all of her costumes as well. Most of Daisy's changes happen up here in this room. In Act 1, she's only in 3 dresses in Act 1, and there's usually like 7 to 8 minutes in between those numbers. And then in Act 2, we have one quick change when she changes out of this debutante dress into her plaza dress. So Eva starts in the corset for the first number for this dress, and then we change her into this bralette for her second number. And then I put this here for her to start the show in, next to her tights and her Spanx that will put a mic in once the mics get passed out. She has a different shoe change for every costume that she has, but 9 outfits technically. And my favorite one, this is one of my favorite pieces, and it's on stage for like 2 seconds. It's a coat that gets put on her when she's leaving, and it's so stunning, and you only get to see it for like a quick second. But besides that, I love this opening dress because she has the chiffon cape that she twirls around. And it's the first time you see her, and she just comes out looking so stunning and fresh. And then she has this beautiful gown that she wears in La Di Da. And she just looks amazing in it, and she taps in it, and I just think it's perfect. And then she bows in this. This dress only gets a bow. It's stunning. It's so much beads. And she looks so great right next to Gatsby because he's wearing an all-white suit at the end. Thanks so much, you guys, but I got a show to do.
That's all for now, but for tickets and more exclusive content, head over to Broadway.com. And until next time, I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.